everyone, so this video is something that's been much requested, and I have done kind of my weight loss journey and that kind of thing before, but so many of you keep messaging me and mainly emailing me actually about weight loss, and if I could just talk a little bit more in depth about it and how much weight I lost, how long it took me, exactly how much weight I lost, the kind of relation of my BMI kind of before and after and that kind of thing. And I was reluctant to do it at first just because I didn't want to kind of give numbers, because I feel like the numbers is a very dangerous game, and I didn't want to sort of say I weigh this much and then someone who is my height or maybe shorter than me or anything like that could kind of compare, and then they'd be like, oh god, well she did it and look how how much shorter she is and she weighs so much more less than me, and people would sort of compare, and especially with young girls and that kind of thing that are quite impressionable. I didn't want to put it out there and make it an issue for anybody, but I do understand that people want kind of a detailed concept and want a little bit more information, so that's what I'm going to do today. And just a little note as well, I'm going to talk in kind of kilos and stones. I don't usually kind of work in my head, if that makes sense, in pounds. So if you do want to know in pounds, just Google it. There's tons of kind of converters on the internet. I'm not going to stress about that too much, but yeah. So basically, a year ago was when I decided that enough was enough and that I needed to do something about it. But a year before that was when I was gradually putting weight on, and my heaviest weight ever was 70 kilos, which is 11 stone. And for someone who is my height, which is 5'1.5", that is a lot, and it just didn't suit me. I didn't look right. I looked very, very, I don't want to say fat because people find that offensive, but fat is what I looked like. I was really, really overweight, and it didn't really affect me in terms of my health and that kind of thing. I was perfectly healthy, I was perfectly fit, but it just affected how I looked and how I felt, and I just felt embarrassed really. And I have reached that weight only once before this time, so probably when I was about, I want to say I was probably about 16, 17. I was at my heaviest then, and then I lost it and was kind of fairly slim for a while, and then I put it back on again gradually last year. And it was just a case of kind of not eating very well, being busy, living with a man, which can affect your waistline, and just kind of not caring. And I'm someone who has got the type of body that I need to be on the ball constantly. I need to be always working out and always watching what I eat and not letting slip-ups happen all the time, because I can gain weight very, very, very easily. So I was just not watching it, and I ended up being my heaviest, which was 70 kilos. I didn't have any scales at the time, so I didn't know, but by how none of my clothes were fitting me and how I looked, I knew that I was at my really, really heaviest. So I am going to insert a picture now of what I looked like. I'm going to try and do it now. If it doesn't work out now, because sometimes the editing software that I use doesn't let me do it in the middle, I'll insert it at the end, but I'm going to try and do it now. And that's what I looked like at my heaviest. So after that, I was that weight for a while, and then I went to a doctor's appointment, and I was petrified of going to the appointment because it was just kind of a general checkup, and I needed to go on the pill again, a different pill. And I felt like they were going to weigh me. I knew they were going to weigh me because they always do when you go to the doctors, and I was petrified because I knew it was going to be huge, and I knew that I was at my kind of biggest point. And previously, when I'd lost the weight, I said to myself, I'm never ever going back to that again. I'm not putting all that work in and getting down to kind of a reasonable size just to have to do it all again. I'm not doing it. But I slipped up and I did do it, and it was something that I'm not very pleased about at all, and I'm not proud of, but we're all human and it happens. So she weighed me, and I came in at 69.7, and I was gutted, and I just sort of thought, I need to do something about this. I need to just be able to get this off. And then last year in September, I was going to someone's wedding and I wanted to be able to sort of look good and feel good and just feel like me again. So I decided to kind of diet a little bit before. I hadn't set it in my mind that it was going to be this huge, big lifestyle change and I was going to kind of lose all the weight and it was all going to be fantastic. That wasn't what I had in mind, but I just knew that I wanted to lose a little bit of weight and look good for this event. So in a way it was kind of like just a kind of quick fix weight loss really to start with. And then I lost a little bit of weight and I started feeling better and my stomach was flatter and I started sort of feeling better. And I think you kind of get, once you get into the swing of things, it's much easier and you can just do it a little bit. You feel like you're just in the zone and you want to do it. And I wasn't weighing myself, I was just kind of doing what I always did. And I'm not someone who's ever really followed a particular diet. I kind of just do what I know works for me, which is generally counting calories. And I know that a lot of people don't agree with that and say it doesn't work, but for me it does. And we're all different, and what works for me in terms of calories might not work for you. But I'm someone who, I've obviously got quite a slow metabolism and someone who's got a tendency to gain weight. I've got overweight people in my family. My dad's pretty overweight. My mum, on the other hand, is like stick thin. So why couldn't I have gotten those genes? But hey ho, you can't pick what you get. But I wanted to just kind of get back down to a reasonable size for me. And in my head, my lowest weight is always 57 kilos, which is just under 9 stone. I think it's like 8.9, but it's around that mark. Which, as I said, I'm 5'1.5", so it's not really low. I think it would bring your BMI in at about 23, and I'm not going to go into the whole BMI concept and whether that's right or wrong because I'm not sure I agree with that, but that's kind of what my lowest weight ever was. And in my head, I just had it right. I'm going to get back down to that and then take it from there. I need to kind of get back down to basics and then take it from there. So I just counted calories and I would try and eat pretty healthily. I probably wasn't eating what the average person would eat in terms of quantity, but as I said, for me, I needed to go quite strict, and if I didn't see results straight away, I'd just give up. So I needed something that was going to do it quickly and do it effectively. So I would have cereal for breakfast, then sometimes some sort of like Rivitas with low-fat cheese and some salads or some cucumber, low-fat crisps, that kind of thing. And I know that a lot of people are really into the whole kind of clean eating thing. And as much as I would love to do that, I know it's just not something that's going to really work for me, and it's not something that I particularly want to do, but I try my best. So I stuck to that, stuck to kind of eating soups in the evening and that kind of thing. I have done a couple of what I eat videos, so if you want to go back and take a look on my channel, you'll be able to have a look at those. But I lost it from about September till, I want to say I kind of fluctuated a little bit, and then I went home for Christmas and I probably put a little bit on then, but I want to say probably September till January I had lost 2 stone, and I had basically gone from 70 kilos to 57 kilos, and my weight kind of ranges between 57 to 59 kind of thing. It's just that range, and that's kind of the healthy range. I think most women tend to fluctuate a little bit depending on what you've eaten or time of the month or that kind of thing. So that's where my weight fluctuates, and that's kind of the healthy, stable weight for me is 57 kilos, which is what I am now. It isn't very low because obviously it's, you know, it's a normal weight, and by normal I don't mean that, you know, who's to say what's normal and what isn't normal, but the average person my height probably would weigh less, but I'm just pretty heavy, I think. I don't know. My mum is very skinny, but she weighs a fair amount, and I think we're just kind of, you know, the cliche of big boned. I don't know if it is really a cliche or if some people just are, but I've always kind of been a little bit heavier, and I can look slimmer than other people, but I'll weigh more, which is why weight doesn't really mean anything, which is why I didn't particularly want to go into it too much. But I know that a lot of people will find it really interesting and want to kind of know the numbers and how long it took and all that kind of thing. The first month and a half, I didn't really work out, and then I started working out, and I did it very gradually. I went on the exercise bike, just kind of 15 minutes one day, and then gradually kind of made it 20, 25, half an hour, that kind of thing. So I did that, and I also did some workout DVDs and that kind of thing. The Carmen Electra one, I did a little bit. But I was just losing weight, and then my clothes were fitting me, and it just felt really good. But something that happens when you lose the weight as well is that you end up kind of feeling a little bit like, it's hard to know when enough's enough, is basically what I'm trying to say. And as I said, I'm kind of at the lowest weight for me now, and I know that this is the lowest weight for me. I do believe that most people have kind of a natural weight, and part of me thinks that that's just what it is and you just have to accept that. But then another part of me thinks that maybe it's also a case of some people maybe work extra harder, and maybe I'm not working hard enough, and if I worked harder I would be much slimmer. I don't know. But my BMI is healthy, and I'm healthy, and I have, got things I don't like still. I'm still very, very squishy and soft, and little bits of, muffin top and cellulite and all that lovely stuff. But as a general rule, I know that this is kind of the lowest I ever get, and I have probably been maybe a tiny bit lower. Maybe I've been about 55, but it didn't make that much difference. But I think kind of your body changes, and how you lose weight doesn't always do it the same. So how I lost weight the second time around looks totally different to how I lost it the first time around, because I'd obviously stretched out again. So I think I'm a little bit kind of saggier and a little bit looser than I was the first time around. So that's something that you want to be mindful of. Kind of don't yo-yo diet, because it does take its toll on your skin. Stretch marks as well. I've got pretty bad stretch marks. I would get up and show you, but I don't know. I might do that at the end of the video, get up and show you. But yeah, it is something that's really difficult, and I know people kind of want a quick fix and want an easy option, and to just be able to just snap your fingers and do it, but it doesn't work like that. You have really got to put the work in, and you've got to constantly stay on top of it. That's what no one tells you as well, how to stay on top of it. And now what I do is I just eat really healthily during the week, and then I'll have kind of one treat day where I'll eat whatever. And for example, what I ate yesterday was I had some cereal for breakfast, then I had a bagel with salad for lunch, some low-fat crisps, then I had some grapes in the afternoon and an iced lolly, just because it was really hot. It was just one of those like totally ice ones. I think it only had like 19 calories in or something. An iced lolly, and then for dinner I had a brown rice and vegetable stir fry with just a little bit of light soy sauce and a yogurt afterwards. And I drank loads of water, and I had some green tea as well. So that's kind of what I eat to kind of just stay on track. And if I've overindulged, it only takes a couple of days of me kind of getting back to normal for my weight to kind of stabilise and for me to look the same. But obviously, as I said, I'm not ever going to be a super skinny, size 6. It's just not going to happen. And I would like to lose a little bit of extra weight, but if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. And I lost 2 stone, just over 2 stone actually, because I think a stone's 6.3 kilograms. But it's a lot of weight, but it doesn't feel like that. I don't feel like I lost that much weight. I don't feel like, I kind of made this huge transformation. But yeah, I'm gonna insert a video now, and we'll kind of talk about the stretch marks and how it affects your body. So I'm wearing a particularly skimpy outfit for the purpose of this video, just to kind of give you a little bit of an indication as to the weight loss and all that kind of thing. But in certain areas, it still kind of doesn't look very good. So for example, my knees I feel are still quite chubby, and the shape of my legs kind of hasn't benefited that much. The backs of my arms, it didn't go, and that's something that last time when I lost the weight it did. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But my stomach is pretty much kind of flat. It's not like washboard, but it's a flat stomach, and that's one of the areas that generally gets flat quite easily. Then in terms of stretch marks, I'll show you a little bit. Here is where they are the absolute worst. So you kind of get like just all those white ones right there. They're not too visible, but they're the nicest thing ever, but there's nothing we can really do about those. Kind of the final look, I suppose. It sounds a bit weird to say, but one of the things that are important to note as well is that once you've lost weight, it's very, very hard to get back into the mindset of realising that you've lost it and that you don't have to dress like you did when you were overweight, because that was something that took me a long time to realise. And how I look now, for example, so this kind of short black skirt, for me to go out like this takes a huge amount of, I'm not going to say courage, but I have to really kind of talk myself into it, and it takes me a really long time to kind of be able to accept that. And I still kind of feel like I'm a fat girl, if you know what I mean. It still kind of residues with you, because you can't always get rid of how horrible it feels to kind of be unhappy about your figure and about your weight and not being able to wear the clothes you wear and all that kind of thing. So that is something that's a little bit difficult to deal with, but at the same time it's something that you have to just kind of get your head around and just get used to, really. So for example, vest tops, I find it very difficult to wear still because of kind of arms and that kind of thing. And the skirt I'm wearing right now, I tried on recently, and I kind of thought, would I ever be able to go out with bare legs with this skirt and, you know, just maybe some like cute little sandals or something, or would I just feel like a complete weirdo because it's just too exposed for me? But I hope this gave you some insight into kind of not just how I did it and the exact way and all that kind of thing, but also just kind of the whole aftermath and all that kind of thing. And I know people are probably going to be like, oh, you're so obsessed with weight, but maybe for some of us, in order to be a healthy weight, you need to be like that, because it's the only way that it works for you, and we're all different. And even if you weigh, you know, 1,000,000 stone and you're happy like that, then that's fine, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise, because as long as you're happy like that, that is absolutely fine and it's fantastic. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you've got any questions, definitely leave them in the comments and I'll try my best to get back to as many of you as I can. I do get a lot of emails and that from people saying, I want to lose weight, help me, tell me what to eat and that kind of thing, but I'm not a dietitian. I can't really do that, and I'm not going to take that sort of responsibility to suggest those types of things. But don't forget to give the video a big thumbs up if you did like it, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.